Hi, good day everyone. So today we'll be doing CSEC Maths Paper 1 Section 7, which is Relations, Functions, and Graphs. And in this video, we are going to be doing from January 2025 to 2017. Okay, so now we're going to start with January 2025, and these questions are the relations, functions, and graph questions are 45 to 52. Alright, so number 45, let's start with 45. Which of the following graph represents x's element of, or x is more than or equal to -2 but less than or more than 2, or x is less than or equal to 4. Alright, that is how it, so the range is x this is what it means. Now when we're reading these, we always read from the letter, never from the number. So when you're reading backwards, this sign actually flips, so it says x instead of this less than, we say more than -2, and then this one we're reading it as normal. X is less than or equal to 4. So x is more than or equal to 2, but less than or equal to 4. Now what we have to recognize is that equal to on a number line means that the circle is shaded. Right? So we're looking for 4 is shaded, but this does not have an equal to, so it's going to be a circle without shaded, which is D. So you'll see that 2 above 2 is not shaded and above 4 is shaded. Because of that equal, we have to put a solid circle. Alright. Now this one, which of the following represents the equation of a straight line? Now the equation of a straight line is y is equals to mx plus c. So anything with squared, right, would be out. So it cannot be c, it cannot be d. This is over x. That's not it. So the only one this could be is possibly is b. Right? Then number 47, what is the gradient of the straight line? Now remember, y is equals to mx plus c. This is the format, meaning you're going to make y the subject. Right? When you make y the subject, you have to make y the subject, so there's no number in front of it. So if I have 2y is equals to -3x minus 8, and I carry across 2, that is y is equals to -3x over 2 minus 8 over 2. Or this whole thing is being divided by 2 and I just separated it, right? So if I look at the number in front of x is -3 over 2, and that would only be d. D is your answer. Right, number 48 refers to the following quadratic function. The maximum point of y is equals to 4x minus x squared is, now your maximum point is your turning point. That is this value right here. Right, that is x is 2, y is 4. So 2, 4 would be your answer. According to the graph, the solution of the equation, that means when this is equal to 0, right? So when this is equals to 0, it's on your x-axis, y is equals to 0. When on your x-axis, y is equals to 0, so you're looking at this point here and this point here. So this point here is 0, 0, 0, 0, and this point here, x is 4 and y is 0. So this is your answers. So when x is 4, y is 0, and when x is 4, y is 0. So the answer is A. If you look at the others, we have x is 2, that is not here. When x is 2, nope. So it can't be this, it can't be this, and it cannot be this. So looking at the other options, the only answer is A. Right, number 50, when h of x is equals to 4x squared minus 6, then h of minus a half, 1 over 2, that means that x is equals to -a half. So that's 4 by -a half squared minus 6. So that is 4 by a half is a quarter, minus 4. 4 by a quarter is 1. 1 minus 6 is -5. So the answer would be B. Number 51, a line is perpendicular to this line. what is the gradient of L? This line, right? No, the one that's perpendicular. Now we know that perpendicular lines, m1 by m2, the gradient of the perpendicular lines is equal to -1. So a line is perpendicular to this line. What is the gradient of that line, right? That line which is perpendicular. So first off, we need to find the gradient. So to find the gradient, we say y is equals to mx plus c. So we need to make y the subject. So 2x minus y minus 8 is equals to 0. If I carry this across, I get positive y. So I have 2x minus 8 is equals to y. So I can see for this equation, my gradient is equals to 2 because that is the coefficient of x. Now I want the line that is perpendicular. Right, so I will say 2 multiplied by m2 is equals to -1. Right, so m2 would be -1 divided by 2. So the answer is B, and that is how you would do this question. Alright. Number 52, which is the last question for January 25. The last question for January 2025 in relations, functions, and graphs. Which of the following set is represented by the function? So, we want when x is 0, 1, 2, and 3, what is f of x or what is y? So f of 0 would be 0 squared plus 3. So when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 3. Alright, then f of 1 would be 1 squared plus 3, which is 4. So when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 4. So far, this is out, and this is out. Alright, so we're going to look at the next one. When f of 2, that is 2 squared plus 3, that's 4 plus 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 7. So therefore it cannot be B, right? It has to be D. And you can check the last one. When f of is 3, that is 3 squared plus 3, which is 9, plus 3, which is equal to 12. So your answer is D, right? And that is the end of January 2025. Now we're going to go May, June 2024. Section 7, number 54 to 45 to 52 is statistics, right? So, which of the function best describes a function? So what we have to understand is there are two types of functions. There's the one-to-one, and then there is many-to-one. Right? So you have to look for from one-to-one means one element going from one element to the next one element. None of them is like that. So actually, yes. B. B is your function. So we are looking at a one-to-one function. This is one-to-one, so therefore this would be a function. If you look at this is actually one to many, which is not a function. This is many no, this is also one to many. It is going from one element to many, one to many, right? And this is also one to many as well. So the only one that is a function is this, which is a one-to-one. If you had many-to-one, so you're going from many elements here to one element here, then I would say that is a function. But no, the only one that is a function would be B. Right, number 46 and 47 refers to the following graphs of a straight line AB. The point at which the straight line AB crosses the horizontal axis, which is the x-axis, again on horizontal, yes. And your x-axis y is equals to 0. Right? And it intersects at B, which is x is 3, y is 0. So that's A. The equation of the straight line AB, although we have enough information. First off, your y-intercept is -2. So as we can see, all of them have minus 2. Then we need to find your gradient. Your gradient, excuse me, let me get my pen. My gradient is equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Right? This coordinate is 3, 0, and this is 0, -2. Right? Because on your y-axis, x is equals to 0. So if we look at our y values, we have 0 minus minus 2 and 3 minus 0, which would be positive 2 over 3. So this is my gradient, and the only one that applies would be C, right? Where your gradient is 2 over 3. Remember again, the equation of your line is in the form y is equals to mx plus c. Right? C is your y-intercept, which is -2, and m is your gradient, which we found to be 2 over 3. Right? I chose this to be group 2, right? So this is x2, y2, and this is x1, y1. So this is how I have 0 minus minus 2 and 3 minus 0. That's how I got 2 over 3, right? So that would be our answer for 47. 48. This is a repeated question. We already did this question here. We know that this is your maximum point, which is x is 2, y is 4. So 2, 4. Then your axis of symmetry. Your axis of symmetry is where it intersects at the, or that would be right here. And if you look at that line, x is equals to 2. E. What is your axis of symmetry? This is the line at which when you fold that quadratic, right, it is folded in the middle. Number 50, if g of x is equals to 7x minus 3 over 5, what is g of -2? First off, we need to find what is g of -2. Right? So we are knowing what is the inverse of g of x. So we know g of x is equal to 7x minus 3 over 5. Y is equal to 7x minus 3 over 5. X would be 7y minus 3 over 5. You make y the subject carry, that's 5x is equal to 7y minus 3. Carry this across, that's 5x plus 3 is equal to 7y. Carry this across, so y would be equal to 5x plus 3 all over 7. So that is g inverse. G inverse of x is 5x plus 3 all over 7. So if I want g inverse of -2, that is 5 multiplied by -2 plus 3 all over 7. 5 twos are 10. -10 plus 3 is -7 over 7, which is equal to -1. So the answer would be B. That is how you would have done this question here. Right? So again, when you're finding your inverse, the first thing is to make the function be equals to y. Then you interchange x and y. Then you make y the subject, and then when you make y the subject, that would be what is the inverse of that function. Right? Let's look at number 51. A parking lot charges $1 plus 0.25 for every hour. Right? So it charges $1 plus 0.25 for every hour in which the vehicles pass. The function of C of H, what represents the parking cost. So 1 is a constant, right? But 0.25 or 25 cents is for every hour. So to find the number of hours, it would be 0.25 by H. And because 1 is a constant, it's always more than 1. So it would be 0.25 H plus 1, which is C. Or 0. Yeah. And that is how you would do this question right here. Okay, let's go with the next one. This is the last question for May, June 2024. The range x to the power of 3 for the domain. So if I have minus 2 to the power of 3, that would be -8. Minus 1 to the power of 3, that would be -1. 0 to the power of 3 is 0. 1 to the power of 3 is 1, and 2 to the power of 3 is 8. That's 2 by 2 by 2, which is 8. So I'm looking for these values, negative 8, negative 1018, which is D. And that is how you would get the answer for this one. Right, and that is the end of May, June 2024. Let's look at January 2024. Paper 1, Section 7, which is my relations and functions and graphs, number 45 to 52. Which of the following equation represents the equation of a straight line? We did this question. This is y is equals to 2x plus 3. The point where a linear function crosses the vertical axis, the point at which a linear function crosses the vertical axis, your vertical axis is your y-axis, so this is why it will call the y-intercept. Right? Item 47 refers to the following arrow diagram. The arrow diagram represents the relation. So we're going from 2 to 8, 3 to 9, hold on, 2 to 8 and then 2 to 10, 3 to 9 and then 4 to 8. Y is less than x. Is y less than x? No. X is a factor of y. Is 2 a factor of 10? Yes. 2 a factor of 8? Yes. Is 4? Right. So this could be it. Let's see, y is a factor of x? No. These are not factors. Actually, is x a factor of y? Right, so when they say x is a factor of y, that means is these numbers could go into these numbers? Yes. When they say y is a factor of x, can these numbers go into these numbers? No. So it is not this. X is a multiple of y. Yes, we could say 2. X is a multiple. X is a multiple. X is not a multiple of y. If they said y is a multiple of x, that would be that would, you have to look at the options and see what is x a multiple of y? No. The the if you look at y, when you multiply y by any value, would you get 2, 3, or 4? Look at 8. 8 multiplied by a integer, will it give you 2? No. Right? So it cannot be that. The only answer could be B. What is the y-intercept of a straight line? 2y is equals to negative 3x minus 8. Right? The y-intercept means your y is equals to mx plus c, and we want the value of c. C is your y-intercept, right? So we need to make y the subject. When you carry across, multiply by 2, it'll turn to divide by 2. So that's y is equals to negative 3x minus 8, all divided by 2. If you separate it, y is equals to negative 3x over 2 minus 8 over 2. So minus 8 over 2 is negative 4. So the answer would be D. Now they said if h of x is 3x minus 2 all over 5, then h of 4 means that x is equals to 4. Yeah? So that's 3 by 4 minus 2 over 5. 3 fours are 12. 12 minus 2 is 10. 10 minus, divided by 5 is 2. So C is your answer. What is the value of f inverse 1 if the function given is this? So they're telling you. Alright, so first we're going to find the inverse. So f of x. So the first step is to make that f of x be equal to y. So y is equals to 5 minus 2x. Then you let interchange x and y. So now x would be 5 minus 2y. Then you make y the subject. Anytime we make something the subject, we go backwards some BODMAS. We don't want y to be negative, so you carry this across. That's x plus 2y is equals to 5. Right, then you carry across plus, so that's 2y is equals to 5 minus x. And we know that anytime we carry something over the equal sign, it is the opposite. Right, so y would be 5 minus x all over 2. So if I want to find 1, that would be 5 minus 1. So if I want to find f inverse of 1, that would be 5 minus 1 over 2, which is equals to 4 over 2, which is in fact equals to 2. So B is your answer. Okay, number 51. The values of x at the point where y is equals to 4x minus x squared intersects the x-axis at. That just means they want to know when, if it crosses the x-axis, that means y is equals to 0. So 4x minus x squared is equals to 0. If you know anything, if you need to make, when you're doing this, this is a difference of two squared terms, so I'm going to factorize it, right? So a difference of two squared terms, hold on, this is not a squared term. So we are going to factorize it. So it's x by 4 minus x is equals to 0. So now you're going to let the brackets be. So x is equals to 0, right? And then you say 4 minus x is equals to 0. Carry this across, so now x is equals to positive 4. So for this question, x would be equals to 0 and x would be equals to 4. So the answer is C. And that is how you would do 51. 52, line L is perpendicular to this line. What is the gradient of that? Alright, so we know that perpendicular lines, your gradients, when you multiply them, you get negative 1. The gradient of this line is 2 over 5. How do I know that? Because equation of the line is in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. So therefore, m is equals to 2 over 5. That is the coefficient of x, right, in this case. So we say 2 over 5 multiplied by m2, which is line L, is equals to 1. So if I want to make m2 the subject, carry this across. That is m2 is equals to 1 divided by 2 over 5, which is 1 multiplied by 5 over 2. So the answer is, sorry, it's supposed to be negative 1. My bad, it's negative 1. Alright, so it's supposed to be negative 5 over 2. So the answer is A. And that is the end for January 2024. Okay, now we're going to be doing May-June 2023 paper 1, section 7, which is relations, functions, and graph, number 45 to 52. Right, the point where a linear function crosses the vertical axis, which is your y-axis, is known as your y-intercept. The equation of the line that crosses the vertical axis at 0, 5 and a gradient of 4. So this here is your y-intercept. So this is c. 5 is equals to c and your gradient is 4. So y is equals to mx plus c. So y is equals to gradient is 4x plus 5. 4x plus 5, so the answer is C. Right, which of the following represents a linear function? This, it would not be this. It would not be this. This is not this. You are looking at E. E is the most logical answer. Right? Item 28 refers to the following quadratic. This is a next repeated question. The equation of the axis of symmetry for the function that is this right here, that is x is equals to 2. So the answer is D. We did this, a similar question to this, I should say. A line L is perpendicular to this line, so we know that perpendicular lines, your gradient of the two lines when you multiply is negative 1. So that's 3 over 7 multiplied by m2 is equals to negative 1. So m2 is equals to negative 1 divided by 3 over 7, which is negative 1 multiplied by 7 over 3, which is negative 7 over 3, which is E. If g of x is 7x minus 3 over 5, then g of minus 6, that would be 7 by minus 6 minus 3 over 5. 7 6s are negative 42 minus 3 over 5 would be minus 45 over 5, which is equal to negative 9. So A is the answer for number 50. Number 51, which of the following equations best describes this function? So we're going to look at this is y, this is x. You're going to just put in the values. Y would be equal to 2 by 2 plus 1, you get 5. Let's see. 2 by 5 is 10 plus 1, so it does not work for this equation. X is equals to, x is equal to that. That makes no sense. X, 2 cannot be equals to 5 plus 3, so that does not work. This one, y is equals to x plus 3. So 2 plus 3 is 5. Then 5 plus 3 is 8. Then 8 plus 3 is 11. So this is the one that it works for, B. Alright? The range of f of x is x squared. This is our next question that we did, and I believe the answer was D. Negative, negative 2 to the power 3 is negative 8. Negative 1 to the power 3 is negative 1. 0 to the power 3 is 0. 1 to the power 3 is 1. 2 to the power 3 is 8. So the answer is D. And that is the end of May-June 2023. Now we're going into January 2023, paper 1. Section 7, number 45 to 52. Again, this section is relations, functions, and graphs. Let's look at this one here. The point where a linear function crosses the horizontal, not the vertical. Your horizontal line is your x, so that would be your x-intercept. Item 46 refers to the following mapping diagram. The relationship that best describes the mapping is it 1 to 1? No, you can see that 1 is going to many, right? So it's not this. Is it 1? One of these going to many of these? Yes. It is actually, no, sorry. If they say 1, one of this is only from one point. That is not the case. Is it many? Many of these values going to 1? Let's just check. Yes. So, the answer would be C. Many of these values going to one of these. Okay, great. So let's look at number 47. H of x is 3x minus 2 over 5 when it is h of minus 6. That is 3 by minus 6 is minus 18 minus 18 minus 2 is minus 20 minus 20 divided by 4 is minus divided by 5. Sorry, I was thinking about the answer. Is so is minus 20 divided by 5 is minus 4a. 48 and 49. This is a repeated question in maximum point. That's the turning point right here. That is 2 and 4. D. The values of x are right. So they want to know these. That's 0, 0. And this point here is 4, 0. So your x values is 0 and 4. 0 and 4. That would be A. Right? At which of the following equations represents a straight line, not A. Anything with squared is out. Right? So the answer is this one. Which of the following sets is represented by the function f of x is x squared plus 3, where x is an element of 0, 1, 2, 3. So when x is 1, 1 squared plus 3 is 4. Sorry. So it will be 0, 3. So all of them have 0, 3. Then 1, 4. That would be not this and not this. Right? Because we have 1, 1 and 1, 5 here. Then when it is 2, that's 2 squared is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. So your answer cannot be 2, 5. So it's not this. So through process of elimination, the answer is D. The line L is parallel to 2x minus 5y minus 8 is equal to 0. What is the gradient of the line? Right? They said parallel lines have the same gradient, okay? So if your lines are parallel, the gradient is the same. Now, in this, we have 2x minus 5y minus 8 is equals to 0. We need y to be the subject, positive y. So I'm carrying across minus 5y. So I have 2x minus 8 is equals to 5y. Carry this across because I want y to be subject. So that would be y is equals to 2x minus 8 all over 5. So the gradient of this line would be 2 over 5. Right? And I want, so we're looking for something that has they're parallel lines, so the same gradient, so the answer is C, 2 over 5. Right? If it was perpendicular, then you would say m1 by m2 is negative 1. But parallel lines, same vector. Right? And that would be the end of January 2023. Now we're looking at May, June 2022, paper 1, section 7. As we know, section 7 is relations, functions, and graphs. Number 45 to 52. Let's look at this here. The point where a linear function crosses the horizontal axis, you know that your horizontal is your x-axis, so that's your x-intercept. The equation of the line which passes through the point 0, 5, this is your y-intercept, so 5 is c, and then the gradient of 4, so you're looking for y is equals to mx plus c, so y is equals to 4x plus 5. So c is your answer. This one here, this is a repeated question. We know it was not B, C, D, it was A. Right? This is our next repeated question. They want the maximum point. That's this coordinate here, 2, 4. A is your answer. A line L is parallel to line 2x minus 7y minus 9. Parallel means they have the same gradient. So we want, if we find the gradient of this line, you'll find the gradient of line L. Okay, so and to find a gradient, you have to put it in the form y is equals to mx plus c, meaning you need to make y the subject. So I have 3x minus 7y minus 9 is equals to 0. You want you want y to be positive, so you carry this across. So you have 3x minus 9 is equals to 7y. Carry this across, so you have y is equals to 3x minus 9 all over 7. So your gradient is 3 over 7, so it's c. G of x is this, then they want g of negative 6. So this is we did a question like this. We got 7 by minus 6 is minus 42, minus 3 is minus 45, minus 45 over 5 is 9, so the answer is E. Right, 51, the range of values. We did this question. This is the answer was D, right? Minus 8, minus 1, 0, 1, 8. Right, which of the following pair of lines is perpendicular, meaning when you multiply the gradients, it will not be this because the gradients are the same. Right, let's look at this one. Let's look at C. I have so y is equal, so the gradient of this line is minus 4, and the gradient of this line is a quarter. 4 by a quarter is negative 1. So the answer would be C. But that's how you need to you need to make y the subjects of all of these, and then look at the coefficient of x, and when you multiply the numbers in front of x, you're supposed to get negative 1. Right, so the answer with this would be C. And that is the end of May, June 2022. Now we're going to go into January 2022. Paper 1, Section 7, numbers 45 to 52. Again, this is relations, functions, and graphs. Right, so let's look at this. Which of the following represents a linear equation? We did this. The answer is this one, right? Anything with x squared out of the question. A set of ordered pairs below represent a relation and function. 2 to 7, 9 negative 4 to 10, 10 to 4. Which of the following points when added to the set would form a relation and not a function? We want something that is not being repeated, right? So you see how x is being repeated, right? Remember, we know a relation a relation is a type of function, and it only has one hold on, so they only have one image, right? So you see how this is 2 is related to 7, and then 2 is related to 8. This is not it. A cannot be an answer. Okay, let's go over this. A relation is a relationship between two sets of values without the destruction. Okay, no, that just okay. Let's go back through this. A relation that is not a function, right? So the only one is that we have one. Sorry, is one to many? Yes, is one to many. One to many is the only one that is a relation and not a function. So we're going from one value to many, and the only one that has one value is the one that is being repeated, which is E. Right? We cannot know that only one 1 is paired with 3. Only 1 is paired with 3. 1 could be paired with, but because of the information here, we know that a relation that is not a function, we're looking at a many to 1, right? And the only one that would be a many to 1, so many values, many of many arrows would be leaving 2. So 2 would be leaving to go to number 7, and 2 would also be leaving to go to number 8. So the answer is A. I don't know what happened there. Right, so the answer is A. Number 47 refers to the following arrow diagram. The arrow diagram above describes the relation. We talked about this already. This is a repeated question. Y is more than X. That is true. Y is more than X. 2 is more than, no, hold on. Y is more than X? No. 2 is not more than 8. Y is a multiple of X. If we multiply X by values, would we get Y? No. X is a factor of Y. X is a factor of Y. No, these values cannot go into Y exactly. And X is a multiple of Y. X is a multiple of Y. Yes, Y, when we multiply by certain values, we are getting X. So the answer is D. What is the gradient of a straight line? We're looking at this. So if we have 2y is equals to negative 3x minus 8, you carry across this, you get y is equals to negative 3x over minus 8 all over 2, which is negative 3x over 2 minus 8 over 2. Gradient of this line is negative 3 over 2, so it's C. Right? They told you f of x is equals to this. They want to know, sorry, h of x is equals to this. I want to know h of minus 6. 6 threes are 18. 18 minus 2 minus 18 minus 2 is minus 20. Minus 20 divided by 5 is minus 4, so A. So the range of f of x is negative x squared. So we are only looking at negative values. Anything that has positive would be out. So it's negative, and then you're squaring x. Right? So we're looking at something that only has negative. So A would not be in place, D is not, and C is not. Just knowing that when you get x squared and you're multiplying it, now the values of x squared, you always get a positive, right? And a positive and a negative is a negative. So we know that y can only be negatives. Am I right for saying that? Yes. Minus 2 squared is 4, so that would be, so the answer would be B. If you put this in, you will get only minus 4, minus 1, and minus, sorry, not minus 0, minus 4, minus 1, and 0. This one, a line parallel to this line. So parallel lines have the same gradient. You put it as y is equals to mx plus c. So you're making y the subject. So you have 5 positive 5y is 2x minus 8. So y would be 2x minus 8 over 5. Excuse me. So y would be 2 over 5x minus 8 over 5. So it's 2 over 5, which is C. Right, the values of x at the point where, so we had this already, we got 0 and 4, I believe. So what we did is we made this be equals to 0. 4x minus x squared is equals to 0. And we factorize this x they have in common x, that's 4 minus x, close bracket, is equals to 0. You make each bracket be equal to 0. X is equal to 0 and x is equals to 4. So the answer is E. And that is the end of January 2022. Let's look at May, June 2021. Section 7, which is Relations, Functions, and Graphs, number 44 to 45 to 52. That's supposed to be 45. The point where a linear function crosses the horizontal axis. Horizontal is your x-axis, so it's the x-intercept. The equation of the line, we did this when the point 0, 5, 5 is c, 4 is your gradient, so y is equals to 4x plus c, that's c. Relation, which of the following is a linear function? A. The coordinates of the turning point, we also call that the maximum point, that's 2, 4, that's D. Right? When we say it's a parallel line, parallel lines have the same gradient, so you need to make y the subject. If you make y the subject, you will get 3. Let's just make sure. So 3x minus 7y minus 9 is equals to 0. Carry this across. That's 3x minus 9 is equals to 7y. Carry this across. So y minus 9 all over 7. So we know that the coefficient of x is 3 over 7, so that is C. This here, we did this was negative 9. It was negative 42 minus 3 is minus 45. Minus 45 divided by 5 is minus 9. So A is the answer. Right, which of the following best describes the function? We did this already. I believe it was y is equals to x plus 3, 11 plus 3 is 14, 8 plus 3 is 11, 5 plus 3 is 8, 2 plus 3 is 5, so the answer is A. This one here, we did this is x cubed, so the answer was D, right, if I'm not mistaken. And that is the end of May, June 2021. Let's look at January 2021, paper 1, section 7, numbers 45 to 52, right? The arrow diagram best describes we're going from many, oh, sorry. What am I talking about? This one here. The arrow diagram above describes the relation. So we're looking at between x and y is less than x. That is not true. Y is 8 and x is 2. Can't be this. Y is a factor of x. Is 8 a factor of 2? No, if it was the other way. Is 8 a factor of 2? No. Right? If it was the other way, is 2 a factor of 8? Yes, that would be correct. But no. Is x a factor of y? This could be correct. Is x, these values factors of y? Yeah. Is x a multiple of y? Are these values, when you multiply y by certain values, will you get this? No, it can't be D. So the only answer is C. Right? And this was an X repeated question. Set of ordered pairs represents a relation that is a function, which of the only relation that's a function is a many to one, right? So you're going from many values is a one, yeah, the only relation that is not a function is one value is going to many values. So you're looking for ones that correspond. Negative 2 is corresponding to more than one value, as 4 is corresponding to more than one value, or 10 is corresponding to more than one value. A, we would not know because none of those values on top have 1, right? 0, 4, same thing. The only negative 8 does not have a negative 8 here. The only one is C. We have negative 2 is being connected to 7 and 8, right? So it's 1 to many, right? 8 of x, this is an x repeated question. This was negative 20 over 5, which is 4, right? Given that y varies inversely, right? So that's 1 over x, where y is 16. So that means y is equals to k over x. Alright? So first off, they said when y is 16, x is a half. So that 16 is equals to k divided by a half. So k would be 16 is equals to k multiplied by a half. Right? You carry this across, that's 16 divided by a half is 16. 16 multiplied by 2. So k is equals to 32. Hold on. If I carry across, I made a mistake. I didn't even flip the fraction. Right. if I want to make k the subject, I carry across, divide by half. That is 16 multiplied by half is equals to k. That is k is equals to 8. Right? So therefore, we're looking for y is equals to, instead of, you're going to have 8 over x, which is d. Alright, number 49. Which of the following represents the straight line? We did this question. This one here, if it has x squared, out of the question. This is out of the question. What is the value of x of the point of intersection for the system that represents these functions? So when they say it intersects, that means they want to know the point at which these two intersect each other. So you're going to say 3 is, my pen. So point of intersection is when f of x is equals to g of x, when 3 is equals to 5 over 2x plus 1, you make x the subject, and we got an answer of 0.8, so the answer would be A. Right, 51. Parallel, we know that they have the same gradient, so that is 5y is equals to 2x minus 8. So y would be 2 over x, 2 over x, 2 over 5, which is C. This one here, we did this question, and I believe it was 2, 7. Right, 0, 3, 1, 4, that is 1 plus 3 is 4. Then 2 2s are 4, 4 plus 3 is 7, so the answer is D. And that is the end of January 2021. Let's look at January 2020, paper 1. As I was saying, January 2020, paper 1, section 7, which is relations, functions, and graph, 45 to 52. Right, we see in number 45 is many values going to one value here, so it's C. This one here, x is a factor of y. The values of this is factors of y. X is a multiple of y. Is this a multiple of y? No. Y is a factor of x. Are these values factors of x? No. Y is not factors of y is less than x. The only possible answer would be D. Right? The only part with number 46, it is very tricky. You need to read carefully, right? Number 47, we did this question. This is one of the first questions in January 2025. We saw that x is equals to 4, but x is not equal to negative 2. So the circle above negative 2 should be should be a circle, right? Should not be a colored circle. Right, the maximum point, this is the turning point, that is x is 2, y is 4, so C, number 49, where it intersects, that is x is 4 and x is 0, that is A. 50, which of the straight lines, we know that will be, that's a repeated question. This one here, this is a repeated question as well. We did this a few times, so the answer is D. Right, gradient. If they are parallel lines and the gradients are the same, the gradient of this line would be I don't know about that answer just now. 2x minus 5y minus 8 is equals to 0. Carry this across, so that's 2x minus 8 is equals to positive 5y. Carry this across, so it's supposed to be 2 over 5. It is not this. It is, yeah, when you made y the subject, they said it's parallel lines, so therefore their gradients are the same. So the answer is C, not A. Alright? And that is the end of January 2020. Let's look at May, June 2019. Paper 1, section 7. 45 to 52. The first one, which of the following represents the graph of a function? although we're not seeing it clearly, this one has more than one. When you have more than one answer for x, right, this x is the same throughout, so it can't be C. D, you have more than one answer for x, so it's not this. This one is not it. The only answer would be A. This one, f of minus 3, that's 3 by minus 3 squared. Minus 3 squared is 3 3s are 9. That's 2 3s, 2 9s are 18. 18 minus 1 is 17, so C. We did this already. The straight line cuts AB at the y-axis. At your y-axis, x is equals to 0, y is equals to -2. So this is D. 48, we did this question. Your gradient is 4. C is your y-intercept, which is this. Right, this one here, we did it. We have x a -3. We got D is your answer. Right, we did number 50 is a repeated question. They want the value for x. As x is 4, x is 0. That is E. This one, the turning point, that is your maximum point. That's 2, 4. Right, and then 52, last one. Which of the following pairs of lines is perpendicular? We did this question. You're supposed to find the coefficient of x for each one of them when y is equal. When you made y the subject, you're supposed to find the coefficient of x. The only one is C. This one, the gradient was -4, and this one, the gradient was 1/4. Perpendicular lines, when you multiply their gradients, is -1. -4 by a quarter is -1. And that is the end of May-June 2019. Let's look at January 2019. Paper 1, Section 7, number 45 to 52. The arrow diagram above describes the relation. Is y less than x? No. Is y a factor of x? Is y, these values, factors of x? Yes. Is x a factor of y? Is x factors of y? No. Is x a multiple of y? When you multiply y by values, will you get x? No. So the answer is B, right? 46, we did this already. We want 2 to be a transparent circle. I'm assuming that this is also transparent, so the answer would be D. Right, above -2, you're supposed to have a circle that looks like this, and above 4, you're supposed to have a shaded circle. 47, which of the following represents a function? Not this, not this, not this, this. 48, which of the following points lies on the line? Lies on this line. So they ask you which of these values, when you substitute x, you're going to get the y. So 2 by 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is, so it does not work for this one. -4 minus 3, no. 4 2s are 8. 8 minus 3, no. 2 by 0 is 0. 0 minus 3 is -3, so the answer is D. Right? If f of x is 2x minus 1, then f of minus 3, that's 2 by minus 3 squared, as minus. That's 2 by 6. 6 2s are 12. 12 minus, okay, maybe that's not 3. What value is that? That's 49. So it's f of minus 3 is equals to 2 by minus 3 squared minus 1. So that would be 2 by 3 3s are 9 minus 1. 18 minus 1 is 17. The answer is C. 50, the maximum point, that's the turning point, that's 2 and 4. Right? The values of x at the point where y is equal to 0, that's this. That's x is 4 and x is 0. That's A. And 52, you want to know, we did this question already. We're looking for 2714. Yes, so the answer is E. Right, and that is the end of January 2018. Let's look at January 2019. Let's look at May, June 2018, section 7, number 45 to 50. May, June 2018. Again, May, June 2018, paper 1, section 7, number 45 to 52. Right. First question, which of the following best describes or illustrates a function? A function is when it only leaves so a function is where we only have one element. It's going from one element. So it's either it could be 1 to 1 or many to 1, meaning it is going from, there's many arrows going to one value here. So the only one here we seen this is 1 to many, so it can't be A. This is also 1 to many. This is also 1 to many. So the only answer would be D. Right? This one here, 46. See, this is gradient is 4, so y is 5. So we're looking for 4x plus 5, which is C. Item 47 refers to the diagram of a number line, the graph of the inequality. Now this is a circle and it does not have, is that circle shaded? I don't think so. It does not look, if it was shaded, then it would be equal to, you're looking for equal to, right? And we're looking for values less than 1. So the only one that has less than 1 is E. If this was shaded, it would be x is equal, less than or equal to, so it would have been D if it was shaded, right? I'm not sure because it's a little bit blurry, but it does not look shaded to me. Right, item 49 refers to the following graph of a straight line. The gradient of AB, this is 2, 1, and this is 6, 3, right? So I would say it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it is 3 minus 1 over 6 minus 2, which is 2 over 4 over half. So the answer is D, right? Number 49, this is a repeated question. 17, the maximum point, that's the turning point here. X is 2, y is 4, so 2, 4, that's D. Number 51, what is the gradient of a line? This is pretty easy. You carry across 2, so y is equals to negative 3x minus 8 all over 2. That's negative 3 over 2. That's B. This one, item 52, refers to, which is the, oh, this is a next repeated question. Y is equals to x plus 3, I believe. It was 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 3 is 11, so the answer was A. And that is the end of May, June 2018. Let's look at January 2018, which the numbers tend to change. And in January 2018, paper 1, right, number 1, number 46 to 51, right? The relation that best describes the mapping in the diagram is many. It's going from many arrows, it's going to one value. We're talking about the arrows, right? Many to 1. Right, this one here, shaded 4, unshaded 2. That is this here. This one, the maximum point, that's the turning point, 2, 4. This one here, that's x is equals to 4 and x is equals to 0. So 4, 0, that's A. 1450, the diagram represents a mapping. We are going to check 3 by, so it's not this, right? 2 by 3 is 6, so that's not it. That is 3 plus 1 is 4. 3 plus 2, uh, 3 plus 2 is 5, so it's not this. Is not this. So the only logical answer could be C. Right? 2 to the power of, I believe x, 2 to the power of 3 is 8, 2 to the power of 2 is 2, 2 to the power of 1 is, sorry, 2 to the power of 2 is 4, 2 to the power of 1 is 2, anything to the power of 0 is 1, so the answer is C. Right, this one is a repeated question. You're looking for 0, 3, 1, 4, and 2, 7. So that's D, right? And then we have, oh, and that is the end of January 2018. Now we're going to do May, June 2017. Again, May, June 2017, paper 1, section 7, number 46 to 51. Which of the following best describes a function? We're going from 1 to 1. So that's this one here. Hold on, no. One arrow is leaving to go to, it's D. So one arrow is leaving to go to one value here, so that's D. Right, this one, if it cuts the y-axis, that's x is equals to 0, so 0 to B. And this one here, this is a repeated question. And it's get negative 20 over 5, which is negative 4. Alright, these are not shaded, so anything with equal to would be out. That's this and not this. Right, also not this. So from a true looking at this, and you see it's not a shaded circle, we're not supposed to have that equal to sign, so the answer is D. Right, 50, the turning, oh, hold on, where x is equals to, that's 4 and 0. 0 and 4, that's A. This one, which of the following best describes a function? This was f of x, which is, what is y? Why is it so? Right. Y plus 3 is 5 plus 3? No. F of x is not equals to x. F of x is y. That makes no sense. No? So the only logical answer is D. We can say that f of x, so that's y, is equals to 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 3 is 11, 11 plus 3 is 14. And that would be the end of May, June 2017. Let's look at January 2017. So January 2017, paper 1, section 7, which is relation functions and graph, number 46 to 51. This is a repeated question. We want both of them to be shaded, right? Because it's equal to and equal to, so the answer would be B. Right, pay attention. Although it looks similar, you see how you could trick you very quickly, but you have to read the question, right? So the answer is B. This one here, which of the following best illustrates a function? A function is when it is going from one element to it, only one arrow is leaving. So only one arrow is leaving in D, right? So if C is 2, right? C and your gradient is a third. As y is equals to a third plus C, which is D. This one, we did this question, the answer is be 17. 2 by minus 3 squared, minus 3 squared, minus 3 by minus 3 is 9. 9 2s are 18. 18 minus 1 is 17. Right? Then this question, which of the following points lie on this? So they want, when you substitute it, you get y. So when y is equals to 2, would I get, when x is 2, would I get 3? That's 2 by 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1, so no. 4 2s are 8. 8 minus 3, no. 2 by 0 is 0. 0 minus 3 is minus 3, so the answer is C. And 51, the range. Alright, so this is a repeated question. That's negative, right? So we don't want no positive value, so it's not this, not this, not this, so the only answer is B. And that is the end of January 2017. which is the last year that we're doing. So that is the end of our relations and functions video.